Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, specifically Great Ace Attorney 2. In the last part, we went around and did a bit of investigating on the second investigation portion for a single case in the Great Ace Attorney series. And we found out a few things that we had overlooked in the crime scene, and now we are taking some of that information to Mr. Garadeb to see what he has to say about it. Mr. Garadeb appears to be out. Oh well, I suppose we'll just have to come back again later. Oh, I guess not. I guess we'll just immediately move on. So I guess we'll go to the prison and see Soseki. We'll just go right down the list. Oh, nothing here either. Weird. Seems we've been everywhere. Go back out to Briar Road, maybe? Nope. Yeah, because there was nothing that popped up that was like the date and time typically pops up again when there's something new in the scene you haven't seen before. Oh, nothing new here. Can I examine things? Iris is over there, clacking away, typing her next piece. I doubt that I can do much in terms of dealing. I can... Have I talked at length with you? I mean, I suppose we could do this. It was quite a shock earlier today, wasn't it? When the victim himself turned up in court and took the stand. I know. Not only that, but then finding out he is actually a barefaced gas thief as well. Yes, that was certainly a surprise to us all. For a while, it seemed as though everyone had quite forgotten about Soseki-san poisoning the tea. Careful of your phrasing, Susato-san. He didn't poison anything. And there's more to this Mr. Shamspear than we yet know, I'm sure of it. Mr. Shamspear certainly wasn't the noble, upstanding man everyone thought he was at first. What's become of him, actually? I was told that he'd be returning to the hospital ward where he was receiving treatment. Oh, which one is that? Let me see. Ah, yes, he's at St. Bartholomew's, on Bart's and Bart's as Londoners call it. We know that place, don't we? Yes, we visited Miss Green there yesterday. It's the same hospital to which she was taken. Ah, yes, after Soseki-san stabbed her in the back. Do be careful of your phrasing, Naruhodo-san. He didn't stab anyone. Perhaps we both owe Soseki-san an apology. St. Bartholomew's. Yes, we should probably visit the hospital later. So, we know that Soseki-san took tea to the victim on the night in question. But as he isn't the culprit, then obviously... Yes, the poison surely wasn't in the tea. But if that's the case, how on earth did the poison get into Mr. Shamspear's body? I'm sure we'll find a clue at the scene. There must be something in Mr. Shamspear's room that will help solve the mystery. Well, naturally, Scotland Yard detectives have been over that place already. But it couldn't hurt for us to have another look around, I think. Definitely. And I'm desperate to know the outcome of the investigation into the tea left in the bar of soap. Well, if we run into Inspector Gregson, we could ask him about that. Okay, that's pretty much everything we can talk with her about. I sort of glossed over those things, because typically they're rather same in every investigation. Maybe there's something else in here that I haven't examined? No, it looks like we've seen everything we need to here. And I absolutely have examined the rat. It is too different for me not to have examined it. I mean, there's not much else I can straight up examine, I don't think. I mean, I can check this stuff. So it turns out that Mr. Shamspear wasn't eating the soap at all. That's right, the mystery of why he had it on a plate whilst holding a fork in his hand is solved. Yes, to prize his latest ice coin out of its mold. And in the process, he accidentally broke the bar of soap in two. It certainly was hard to imagine, let alone deduce. Especially considering that the bar of soap out there in the cold would be, you know, frozen solid, I would think. Ah, the ill-fated teacups from which the two men drank on the ill-fated night. During their heated literary debate, yes. Who's stronger, Romeo or Juliet? It sounds like it was quite a discussion. Now I think of it, I'm sure that the two lovers in the play ended their lives with poison. That's fiction, Miss Usato. Let's hope it stays that way. Yeah, I hope it stays that way too, but he was poisoned after all. Maybe it does have a connection. Nope. Definitely talked at length with you. And I've pretty much examined everything except for, I guess, this now. The sun never shines in this room thanks to that depressing bricked-up window. Yet, with enough determination, you can always remove the bricks to set some soap outside, can't you? That sounds like a very wise life lesson, Miss Usato. Only if you plan to follow a life of crime, Mr. Naruhodo. And I can't check anything. Yeah, everything else has got a nice red check mark on it. It seems we are at an old-fashioned standstill. Though that's normal for us, really. Well, rather me. Have I examined everything that I need to outside? Because that's pretty much all I can do at the moment. London's blanketed in fog again today, and the sky is covered in cloud. But if you look carefully in the distance, you can just make out the Crystal Tower being built. Oh, I do see it. Ah, the Crystal Tower, yes. The centerpiece of the great exhibition that's to open in 6 months' time. Everyone's talking about the great exhibition of London at the moment, it seems. Well, it's to be the largest event of its kind anywhere in the world, with technology and scientists from all over. I can't wait for it myself. Do you think visiting students from the Far East like us will be granted entry? The last great exhibition that was held in London had more than 6 million visitors, it seems. And this time, the British are determined to make it an even bigger success to outdo the Paris Exposition. I see. That's an incredible number of people. And with so many people expected to attend, we should easily be able to slip in unnoticed. There's always the honest approach of buying tickets at the main entrance, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sort of feeling like Ryunosuke's more of the devious, sneaky around type to the straight and narrow of Susato. It's different in the main series where you've got Phoenix, who is the straight and narrow person, and Maya, who is the sort of cheeky, wily one, I guess I would say. I mean, I can examine everything in this room, but, I mean, it looks the exact same. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Yeah. Really nothing. I'm actually kind of confused at the moment. Oh, he's here now. I don't know what I did to trigger you coming here, but maybe it was something I talked with Susato about. Oh, Mr. Natsume is back. So he is. Mr. Natsume, hello. Oh boy. I'm gonna do this guy's voice. Shutting your eyes, huh? I am a cat. Sorry? I don't know who Mr. Natsume is, or Airlock Sholmes. I don't know about courts or trials or Old Baileys. I am a cat. That's what I am. Just a cat. Mr. Naruhodo, he's trying to escape from reality. Trying to? He already has. Completely. So, what is your name then?
As yet, I have no name.
Mr. Naruhodo, he hasn't fully thought out his new identity yet. Maybe it's not too late to bring him back to reality. Do you think you could open your eyes for us, Mr. Natsume?
I am not a cat.
It worked! He's back in the real world!
What's going to become of me? No! Don't answer that. It's obvious. My accursed soul is never going to escape this accursed fate.
Mr. Natsume, no! This morning's proceedings in court proved that there's hope!
Yes, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire was brilliant, but... The Reaper is omnipresent, in court, in my lodgings, here, there, everywhere!
What's he looking straight at me for? I think perhaps there are some things we should discuss.
Yes, we must.
I think he's lost it. but maybe if he's talking about his cat, we'll get to know something about his cat.
In my whole life, have I ever been so moved as I was today? No! Of course, if I cast my mind back, there were perhaps 1 or 2 other occasions that moved me more. But if I just block those out, then today, being in that courtroom was... It was the most moving experience of my life, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
You're too kind. Scotland Yard found the remaining tea just as we deduced, and we are analyzing it as we speak.
There's nothing wrong with that tea. They won't find a drop of poison in it. That's a solemn, sworn Soseki certainty.
Tell me, did you both drink the tea at the same time that night?
Oh yes, most definitely. Remember, drink tea while it's hot. We both poured it down our throats like it was a hot bath for our bellies.
And at the time, you were both completely fine. As shown by the fact that he and Mr. Shamspear then engaged in the Romeo and Juliet match. I suppose the focus of tomorrow's proceedings will be how the poison was taken by the victim then. That is still the biggest mystery. And it probably leads to the killer.
That rotten Shamspear! What have I ever done to him?
You don't recall him taking issue with you over anything you've done recently?
I've been holed up in my room, immersed in books. I don't recall anything. Anything at all!
Right.
But what I don't understand is why he didn't let me know sooner.
Let you know what, Mr. Natsume?
About the soap, of course! What else?
Oh dear. Are you struggling with such a meager stipend?
Of course I am. If I had money, I wouldn't have chosen to live an accursed existence in such accursed lodgings.
Oh yes, you said it's because the place is cursed that it's so cheap, didn't you?
Exactly, especially the room that I rent. The spirit of that capital offender who lived there still haunts the place, and it's trying to kill me.
Capital offender?
Might I ask, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, that the next time you visit me, you bring scores of super soft soaps?
Okay. I guess we present stuff to him now. What did we find? Maybe this? Mr. Natsume, it's nothing much, but...
Ah, it's been too long since I've been offered a present with that delightfully humble etiquette of our homeland.
What?
You're too kind. I accept it gladly.
Sorry, but I wasn't trying to give it to you, actually. Well, wrong evidence on that one. Is it this guy? Is this the capital offender?
What's this?
It's a newspaper cutting that we found in Mr. Shamspear's room.
Ah, so he knew, did he?
Sorry?
About this man, Selden, a convicted killer, and the evil spirit behind the curse that afflicts my lodgings.
What?
He's already taken one young man's life, and now he's trying to take the life of another. A miserable, mustached, much maligned Japanese man.
Mr. Natsume, if you know something, please. You must tell us. Tell us everything you can about this evil spirit. Alright. I do want to know more.
The truth is, I didn't know the details myself until very recently. That Selden man was arrested about a year ago now.
I'm yawning because it's a little bit late.
And at the time, he was hiding out in lodgings at Mr. Garredeb's house.
What? He lived where you do now?
That's right, yes. Exactly where I live now, in my very room.
Oh my, your room was previously occupied by a criminal found guilty of a capital offense?
But before his sentence could be carried out, he died in prison. That was 3 months ago now. And that's when it started. The curse.
What really is this curse you keep mentioning, Mr. Natsume?
It's already caused one death. A few months after the criminal passed away in prison, a man died in the room. The man who rented it after Selden, in fact. The poor lodger. He was found dead in mysterious circumstances. The room was locked from the inside.
Locked from the inside? Exactly like the case we're dealing with now. So that's the convict's curse, is it?
Yes. Well, that was the start of it.
That was just the start. See, this is new information to me. Do you have any idea how the lodger before you passed away, Mr. Natsume?
The official cause of death was asphyxia. When they discovered the body, the room was full of gas.
Gas?
I only found that out after I'd signed the lease. When Mr. Garredeb came to tell me later, I couldn't stop myself trembling. In fact, if I'd known beforehand, I'd probably have been too scared to take the room. Landlord's lease, luckily legal!
Lucky for Mr. Garredeb, maybe, but not so lucky for poor Mr. Natsume. And now you believe this curse is affecting you?
It is, at first. I just felt as though I was being watched, all the time.
And then you talked about having nightmares, didn't you?
The dead are trying to take me with them, then come for me and try to suffocate me. Just when I'm struggling to breathe, I wake up, and the room is as cold as ice.
But why is your room so cold?
London winters are too cold to bear without any heating on overnight. But for some reason, even though I light the stove before I climb into bed at night, the pilot light always goes out and the room fills with gas.
But that's terrible. That's exactly the same situation as what led to the previous occupant's death. And then there's what happened to Mr. Shamspeare last night, when he was mysteriously poisoned. There's clearly more to that incident than can be explained by a curse, though. Whatever can be the cause of all these strange happenings in Mr. Garredeb's rooms? I have a theory. I have a theory that there's something wrong with the gas. Sort of. I don't remember what it's called. What is this called? The gas meter. The meter. There's something wrong with the meter in his room as well, and it's causing the gas to leak out into his room, but only for the amount that he can pay for, which is why he feels like he's suffocating, but then he wakes up and the room's cold as ice. I mean, like... I'm not sure, though. We'll have to see. I'm gonna be like, do you recognize this person? No, it's the same thing. I think that might be it for now. We need to go back to Garredeb, I think. So we shall go to the Garredeb's room. I was hoping that we could investigate Soseki's room, but okay, I think he's back. Ah, you're here now, Mr. Garredeb.
Right, bally business it is for me, you know. Getting out and about.
I think that's the wrong voice, but we'll see. Were you at the Old Bailey by any chance?
Naturally, fate of my lodgings hanging in the balance and all that. Not a trial to miss.
The fate of what's already been dubbed your haunted lodgings, yes.
Of course, the place has caused quite a stir around the capital on more than one occasion already. As the old haunted lodgings or some such.
Ah, well, at least he knows.
Makes you wonder what the blazes is going on, don't you know?
Hey, Sholmes, how you doing? I love how he just pops up when he feels like it. Yes, I'm sure it does. In fact, thinking back to Mr. Natsume's other trial just 2 days ago. You were at the Old Bailey then as well, weren't you? Testifying with your wife about what happened.
Stopped off at the prison on the way home, in fact. Beastly business.
I see. Standing up now.
So, what brings you to my haunted abode today, eh?
Well, let's talk about it. I would like to talk about this curse.
Some fishy fellow from the Far East and a failed actor chap of questionable character, eh? Yes, the house does seem to have become something of a magnet for rum fellows of late. Thanks to that bally curse.
The convict's curse, you mean?
Ah, heard the stories, have you? Rotten scoundrel was arrested here, and then the next chap in the room goes and kills over. Then there was that woman who dropped dead just outside on the street, not to mention the actor yesterday.
She's not dead.
Am I next, eh? Well, can't help but get the collie wobbles, can you?
When you say the woman who dropped dead outside on the street, do you mean Miss Green? Because Miss Green, who was stabbed by the knife, and Mr. Shamspear, who was poisoned last night, are both very much alive still.
Yes, well, so is that blasted convict's curse, it seems.
Personally, I should be quite content with such lodgings. A bath, a toilet, a fireplace, a fascinating history. Why? It sounds like the lap of luxury. I'm not so sure about that.
Well, there's no bath or toilet included, and no fireplace either.
But you do look out for your tenants, don't you? By watching the rise and fall of the flames in your gas lamps up here.
Yes, never hurts to keep an eye on things, in case there are any mishaps or such like.
I think you've had your mishap already, sir. That's not helpful, Mr. Sholmes. Heaven forgive me. The words just came to my lips. Yeah, that's not very helpful. Hey, your wife's in prison, isn't she? Hey, remember when I convicted your wife of accidentally stabbing that woman? Holy shit, that was a riot. Yeah, no, not very helpful.
Some fishy fellow from the Far East and a failed actor chap of questionable...
did I fucking click the... Oh, okay, no. I thought I clicked the same thing again on accident. There's no need for that, Mr. Garadev. That's right. Mr. Natsume is in no way fishy. He is undeniably peculiar, however. Is it right that he took the vacancy immediately after the previous tenant passed away?
Yes, that's right. I asked the estate agent to find someone and he popped up the very same day. Never come across a chap so keen for a place with the background, as it were.
I don't think it was the room's background he was keen on so much as the cheap rent, actually. So, how long has Mr. Shamspear been lodging under your roof?
That failed actor chap? Let me see. Oh, of course. Yes, it's been 3 months now. Quite sure of it.
Only 3 months. He's quite new here too, then. And to what do you owe your certainty in that regard, Mr. Garadev, if I might ask?
Well, it was that Selden scoundrel, as it happens.
Selden? The convict, you mean? Do Selden and Shamspear have some kind of connection, then?
That convict chap, Selden, passed away in the clink 3 months ago now, you see. Some malady or other.
Yes, we've seen the report from the newspaper at the time.
Well, it was only 3 days later that the tragedian showed his face, the actor fellow.
Really? Huh.
Yes, I remember it quite distinctly.
'Tis small, this world we inhabit. Prithee, landlord, hear my request. I, the humble Shamspeare, do desire to take thy room on the middle floor offered erewhile for rent.
Terribly sorry and whatnot, but that won't be possible. Already have a lodger on the middle floor. Ground floor room's vacant though.
Nothing can be made out of nothing. Let me repeat mine will unto thee.
Those curls must be muffling your ears. The room on the middle floor's taken. It's ground floor or nothing.
Very well, we have an accord.
Glad to hear it. Welcome to Briar...
Lo, a Shamspeare dance to celebrate!
I see. So there's something... So he's like in league with the guy? So basically what I'm getting from this, or at least my suspicion at the moment, hearing that, is he was in league with the guy. There was something left behind in that room that he wants to recover. He got rid of, he literally, he poisoned or strangled one of the two. The previous tenant that was on the middle floor room. Then planned to take that room for himself now that it was vacant. But the very same day, Soseki popped up, and that's why he's been so, against Soseki, and like he hates him so much. And on top of all of that, he probably tried faking the poisoning for this particular case to try and get him convicted. Because he's like, if I can't kill him by poisoning him at night with the same method that I got rid of the other guy, like the gas asphyxiation, if I can't kill him the same way that I can the other guy, then I'll just, make it look like he tried to kill me and he'll go to prison for it. And then I can have that room, right? That's probably his plan. That's my guess for his plan and his motive, but we still don't know the method as to how he carried it out. So that's still out there.
From what I heard in court today, sounds like the chap was thieving gas. And he was 3 months in arrears with the rent too. Yes, the fellow was a bally player, all right.
Thank you for your candor, Mr. Garrideb. We are most grateful. By way of appreciation, allow me to say 1 or 2 words. Give me my robe, put on my crown. I have immortal longings in me. Does that say immoral or immortal? Okay, immortal. I was gonna say. Jesus fucking Christ. What's happened to you? Shakespeare, my dear fellow. One of his most famous lines. I've never heard that line in my life. I wish to divulge my own learning of the subject, for I have a turn for literature too, you know. Perhaps you could turn your attention to more apt lines then? Alright, I'm gonna check one more thing. I want to see this. Mr. Garrideb, could I ask you to look at this photograph? Is that your son who's with you there?
No, not at all. He was a lodger here once. Duncan Ross was his name.
Duncan Ross.
A street photographer happened to be passing, so I asked him to take a shot, just for kicks, really.
Was he by any chance the lodger before Mr. Natsume?
Yes, that's right.
Ah, the young gentleman who died in the room in mysterious circumstances. Just what Mr. Moustache was waiting for, one might say.
Yes, young Duncan lived in the room at the top of the first flight of stairs before that Japanese chap.
Would you mind telling us a little more about him? Alright. Getting a little bit more about this Duncan Ross fellow.
Yes, Duncan Ross. Young chap was attending art school. Had to work to pay for it, mind. Moved into the middle floor room about a year ago. After that criminal, Selden, was arrested. Young students are always on the hunt for rooms with a history behind them.
A history of cheap rent, maybe, yes.
Yes, well, anyway, it was one morning about a month ago now. I hadn't quite worked out the old trick of watching the gas lamps to see what my lodgers are up to at the time. So, sadly, I was rather tardy to discover what had happened. Smell of gas that alerted me it was.
Ah, yes. Synonymous with the smell of death.
Called the police straight away, of course, and the officer kicked the door off its hinges. But once we got inside, we all barely collapsed.
Because of the gas?
Yes, room was full of it. No air at all. Stove must have gone out while the poor chap was sleeping in his bed.
So, Mr. Ross suffocated to death.
Of course, the police gave me a sound ticking off because the gas pipes were so old and all that. Can't tell you how much it set me back to have the lot replaced all over the house.
But even after you had all that work done, Mr. Natsume says the same thing. That the stove goes out at night whilst he's asleep in bed.
Well, that's the bally curse. The convict's curse. I've done my duty as a landlord now.
Someone's feeling defensive. Or someone's intentionally turning it out somehow.
Oh, that reminds me, actually.
Yes?
About young Duncan, the night before the poor chap perished. He'd been writing a letter of affection to a young lady.
Oh no. A love letter, you mean? I thought this is where this was gonna go.
Yes, where did I put it now? Ah, here it is. Left it on my desk.
Oh, was that the Of course it all connects. Connects back to... This is what his wife got pissed at him about. If you'll excuse me, let me see now. What does it say? To my most beautiful and charming sweetheart. Do you think that we should be reading such a personal piece of correspondence? My dear Miss Susato, that is precisely why I prefaced my reading it with, if you'll excuse me. I will not excuse you, Mr. Sholmes, no!
Sadly, it didn't address it, though. I've no means of delivering the thing. Rather sad, really.
I see. That's going to play on my mind. It's not going to play on mine. Oh. But really, the identity of Mr. Ross's sweetheart has no bearing on the case. I'm not sure about that. I think we should leave well alone. Yes, I suppose you're right.
Indeed, the intended recipient's address is missing. However, there is a name attributed to the man's most beautiful and charming sweetheart.
Mr. Sholmes, please! I've already had to chastise you about this once.
My undying love to you, my colorful darling, Olive Green.
Olive Green? The woman who was plunged into a coma after a knife plunged into her back outside this house 5 days ago. That was a long sentence. The victim of the last case Soseki-san was in court for, who regained consciousness only yesterday. Is it just chance that her name has come up now? Could it possibly be a mere coincidence? I'm not sure. She was definitely around the house at some point yesterday for some reason. Maybe, I don't know. Mr. Naruhodo, whatever can this mean?
Reading personal correspondence can have its merits, you see, Miss Susato.
Oh boy. Well, out we go, I guess. That's, yeah. We need to go to Miss Green. No, she's gone! Oh, no. Mr. Naruhodo, I've just finished speaking with the doctor. It seems Miss Green is well enough to be discharged at last. This is good news, but hopefully just before she leaves. Ah! What is it? Oh, she is here. Miss Green! Uh-oh. Where are you hiding? What was that? She clearly just hid something behind her back. It was a photo and then a bottle. Is she trying to, like, poison herself? What?
One moment. I'll be with you in a jiffy. Oh, hello everyone. What are you all doing here? The doctor has said I can be discharged, so I'm just getting my things together.
Miss Green, what were you just doing?
Oh, nothing, really. I was just about to take some medicine the doctor prescribed for me, that's all.
Well, we were hoping to have another quick chat with you, if that's alright.
I don't really have anything else to tell you.
Alright, she's definitely behaving strangely. Let's see if we can't coax something out of her. We'll try. It's wonderful news that you're going to be discharged, Miss Green.
Oh, yes, I mean, thank you. Once people are better, the hospital staff don't want them lingering and wasting space. Not people like me, anyway. So I don't think I should keep anyone waiting. I probably shouldn't stand around and chat.
She certainly doesn't seem to be in the mood to talk, that's for sure. Well, can I try examining these things? This is the card that Miss Green was looking at so intently before, isn't it? Mr. Naruhodo, we shouldn't be peeking at a young woman's private effects. Right, I should save peeking for gentlemen's effects only. You mustn't do that either. And maybe you, Miss Usato, shouldn't be peeking into a young man's mind either. See, this is why I think she's like a distant relative of Maya's, because she's like a different form of psychic. You know how it is. This is the bottle that Miss Green was just about to drink from when we arrived. Yes, she looked rather preoccupied, didn't she? Perhaps it's very bitter. I can't stand bitter medicine. I suppose that could be it. In fact, whenever a doctor prescribes me medicine for a number of days, I always take it all at once. Oh no! Well, if you have to take something you don't like, it's best to get it all out of the way in one go, isn't it? Or it's a good way to overdose and die. Oh dear, and I thought it was Miss Green I should be worrying about at the moment. Oh, I got a fucking achievement for that? What? Alright. We want to present to you this. Miss Green, we were hoping to ask you about someone. Mr. Duncan Ross. You knew him, didn't you? Oh no. Oh. That's one way to see what that is. Oh no, I'm so sorry. The bottle of medicine fell down when she did.
Oh, Miss Green, are you alright?
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to startle you like that.
No, it's alright. I just wasn't expecting it. But how do you know about Duncan? Mr. Ross had been writing a letter when he passed away. The landlord found it in his room. It was a very personal letter to you. It was at the art school. That's where I met Duncan a year ago now. He was working to fund his studies. He dreamt of becoming a professional artist one day. And the two of you became romantically involved? Yes, that's right. We were very much in love. We were engaged to be married, actually. That's why he decided to move into a cheaper room, to save money for the wedding. And that's what led him to Mr. Garadeb's. Yes, he told me he'd found the worst but cheapest room in the entire East End. And then 1 month ago, that's when it happened. We're so terribly sorry, Miss Green. Well, it's all in the past now, I suppose. Poor Miss Green. She looks desperately sad.
I was starting to think that's just her look. But now I see that she has every reason to feel the universe is against her.
I do hope you won't think I'm being rude, but... would you mind leaving me in peace now? I have to leave the hospital soon.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We didn't mean to hold you up. Of course, we'll be on our way...
Mr. Naruhodo.
No.
Surely you were not about to leave.
That's quite out of the question. We're gonna have a, okay. We're probably gonna end up having a Sholmes special here. Let's see what Miss Green's hiding. What? Mr. Sholmes, I didn't realize you were here. But of course I was, my dear fellow. Watching intently from the shadows, as always. Well, make your presence known next time. Instead of being a fucking creeper. Holy shit.
Mr. Sholmes, what's this about?
Something which occurs to me with some regularity, Miss Susato, is this. Why do detectives insist on such an ex post facto modus operandi? Why solve a case after it's happened, instead of preventing a case before it happens? That is what sets a great detective apart. What do you mean? I just noticed the rat is dead in the background. The rat is fucking dead. Holy shit. He drank the Danganronpa juice and he's fucking dead. Look at him, you can't really see him too well, but you'll see him when the box goes away. There is a case waiting to happen under our very noses, Mr. Naruhodo, and it already happened to that poor fucking rat. Holy shit. So let us avert disaster. Let us prevent this case from ever happening, with nothing but careful observation. See? Look at it! Either it's knocked out or it's just straight up fucking dead. Holy shit. Alright. All the clues you need are set before you. You only need look, and you cannot fail to see.
You can do it, Mr. Naruhodo. I know you can.
I guess this is not the Sholmes thing. It's just examining the dead rat. Christ. The matter-of-factness of that statement. That mouse seems to be dead. Look! Wow. I didn't notice it there before, did you?
I think perhaps it drank the medicine that spilled out of the bottle. But that's the bottle that Miss Green was about to drink from when we arrived.
You don't think... I see you've come to appreciate the true nature of this scene. That of a tragedy about to take place. Yes, I think it's falling into place. Miss Green, the contents of the bottle you had before is spilt out on the floor, and the poor mouse that drank it has sadly died. Ah! I think it's clear that the bottle must have contained a powerful poison.
Don't worry, I will attend to the mouse presently.
Miss Green, were you intending to go the same way as that rodent? To take your own life?
Ah!
Once we'd left, you would have put it to your lips again, wouldn't you? And taken the poison.
No! Miss Green, please talk to us.
It definitely feels as though this card must be relevant. I mean, when we first arrived, Miss Green was standing with it in her hand in what can only be described as a very tense atmosphere.
Yes, it may very well be related to whatever incident Mr. Sholmes believes was about to happen here. Perhaps we should ask Miss Green about it.
Okay. And then I want to check the painting that she's done too. What about this? Mr. Duncan Ross. Who would have ever thought he was engaged to be married to Miss Green? To lose one's beloved fiancé must be painful enough. But then Miss Green suffered that awful injury, and outside her fiancé's former lodgings, too. Fate can be very cruel sometimes. Okay, I guess we have to talk to her now. Oof. 10 seconds later, and we would have arrived at a very different scene here. In all probability, we would not have enjoyed this most delightful conversation. Of course, perhaps it hasn't been quite so delightful from your perspective, Miss Green.
Actually, in a way. Now that everything is out in the open, I feel like a weight has been lifted.
Tell me, how did you acquire that medicine?
Well, with this being a hospital and all, when the doctor comes to examine me in the mornings, he always leaves the medicine cabinet open for a while, so I snuck this out when he wasn't looking.
It conspicuously lacks a label. I wonder what it contains.
I'm afraid I don't really know. But I thought if I drank it, it might just stop the pain somehow. Oh, please, Miss Green, don't talk of such things.
Well, it seems clear now that it contains poison.
Yes, that poor little mouse is proof of that. Oh no! Oh, it's all my fault! What have I done?
I shall remove this to my office, Miss Green. I take it you have no objection?
No, none.
I suppose we will have to test that.
Neither the sender's name or address appear to be written on the envelope or the card. It arrived by post at my home on the day before the incident that put me in hospital here.
I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Oh, that's the other part of the fucking envelope. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Wait a minute. The 17th of this month? That's the day you were stabbed on Briar Road.
And 5 p.m.
is precisely the time when the incident occurred. Oh. Weird. Huh? But how could they have set up such a weird coincidence? Maybe they were planning to do something different. And maybe it has something to do with getting that key that's around her neck. The Slug and Salad, yes, a pub on the northern corner of Briar Road. Briar Road being the street that Mr. Garredeb's house is on.
Does this mean that... Yes, I'm sure you've guessed. That day when I was struck in the back by the knife, I was actually on my way to the Slug and Salad. Goodness.
So that's what you were doing on Briar Road that day?
I'm sorry I didn't say anything before.
I think that sort of explain if he's wanting the key that's around her neck. She keeps holding it. She keeps holding it. We don't know what it is. If it comes out that that key is to something that something important that Mr. Shamspear needs as his goal of entering that room that Duncan was a part of, then it will be problematic. Because we could probably prove that she was kind of in a damned if I do, damned if I don't situation because she had that key. She was either going to be attacked by Mr. Shamspear and have the key stolen from her, potentially being killed in the process, After all, he had already killed Duncan at that point. It would have just been another kill in the string for him. Or, on top of that, she got stabbed in the back by the flying knife out of the window.
I think I really will have to ask you to excuse me now. I've told you everything.
Yes, I'm very sorry to have had to drag up such painful memories for you.
No, it's fine.
Miss Green.
Please, promise us you won't try to do anything like that again. Yes, don't worry. Your detective friend has the bottle now anyway. And besides, I've been stabbed in the back and had a close shave with a bottle of poison, and I'm still here. I think I'm destined to see things through to the end. It might sound a little conceited, but, well, that's how all this has made me feel.
Well, as long as you don't try to do that again. Leaving Miss Green and St. Bartholomew's behind, we made our way back to Baker Street with Mr. Sholmes. Is that going to be it for our investigate? Oh my goodness. Well, it would appear we've reached the end of the investigative trail for today. Yes, it's late. And Mr. Naruhodo, did you discover anything that may be of use to you in court tomorrow, do you think? Details about Mr. Shamspear, Mr. Girdeb's lodgings, the convict Selden. There are many facets to this case, and we're yet to see to the heart of it, if you ask me. That's my feeling, anyway.
I can't help wondering about the results of the analysis.
Into Mr. Natsume's tea, you mean?
Yes, will they have found strychnine in it or not?
Well, I fear that either way, it will be hard to escape the grip of our friend, Mr. Reaper.
Oh dear.
Yes, Barak Van Zeeks. But I wish you every success, of course, and though I was late to rise this morning, tomorrow will be a new dawn. I intend to spring from my bed at a crisp hour and attend the trial.
Mr. Sholmes, you're going to come?
Indeed. Whatever happens, I shall be there, assuming my eyelids cooperate in the morning. Well, I think we've done all we can. All that's left is to remain focused and keep fighting for Mr. Natsume's cause until the very end. Alright. London, the world's most prosperous city, home to some 6 million people. But away from the razzle-dazzle, down back alleys and behind bricked-up windows, the lonely lurk. Soseki-san had battled long and hard with loneliness during many months here, and so I felt honor-bound to battle equally hard for my compatriot, to lift the curse that gripped him. As Mr. Sholmes said, tomorrow would be a new dawn, for all of us. Where's the... Okay, there it is. To Pikachu. I thought it took a little bit too long there. But finally, is done for now. And that investigation is done, which means I think now is a good time to say goodbye for now. And in the next episode, we're going to jump into the second portion of this trial. I don't know whether this is going to be the ending portion or not. I feel like there's still more to the case. I mean, I think in this next trial portion, we can prove that it was Shamspear that did everything. I think that through testimony, in combination with the evidence that we have, that we could probably prove that Shamspear not only tried to fake his own poisoning, but on top of that, he got rid of Duncan Ross and a bunch of other things. But I don't think we're going to be able to figure out the secret behind why he wanted into that room. I feel like that's going to probably blend into the overarching storyline for this entire game. There we go. So, yeah, that's going to be it for now, and I will see you guys in the next part when we start the trial. See you guys then. Bye-bye.